SCC. I want to offer a warm welcome to everyone joining us today, as well as all of our viewers via C-SPAN and internet streaming. We have an exciting afternoon ahead with an array of speakers that should give you a full picture of the campus carry debate. Our speakers today include people who have personally experienced the tragedy that results from the criminalization of self-defense. We will also have a debate between renowned economist John Lott and Colin Goddard from the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence. Our keynote speaker, Glenn Caroline from the National Rifle Association, will speak later this afternoon. And in addition, we will have panels featuring academics, state legislators, campus activism, and student lobbyists. I want to begin by introducing our organization for the benefit of our guests here. Students for Concealed Carry is a national nonprofit with a single objective: to allow adults who have possessed a state-issued concealed handgun license the same measure of self-protection that they enjoy virtually everywhere else in society. Simply put, we believe those individuals who carry a handgun daily for personal protection should not be denied that option for self-defense only because they seek an education or work in a collegiate institution. This afternoon is exciting to our supporters for several reasons. First of all, it has been 3 years since we last met here in Washington, D.C., and we've made a lot of progress in that time. Over the last 3 years, the hard work of SCC members has more than doubled the number of colleges that allow concealed carry on campus. Due to a lawsuit by our organization, in conjunction with several of our friends, almost all colleges in Colorado now allow effective self-defense via concealed carry. The status of the remaining Colorado schools will be settled within the next month or two by the Colorado Supreme Court. These advances in Colorado have increased the number of U.S. college campuses that allow concealed carry to 71 in Colorado, Utah, and in Virginia. SCC litigation has also been successful elsewhere. In Texas, we established federal precedent that our trademark empty holster protest is a legal exercise of free speech, and we prevented Tarrant County College from being the only college in the country to prohibit that. Nor has the success of Students for Concealed Carry been limited to the courtroom. In the legislative arena, there have been a number of notable victories, particularly in 2011, when both Michigan and Wisconsin removed several legal prohibitions against campus carry, and Oklahoma removed restrictions against firearms in vehicles. This follows earlier victories in Georgia and South Carolina to allow storage of firearms in vehicles parked on campuses. While the media has fixated on high-profile bills in Arizona, Nevada, Florida, and Texas, much work has been done in many other states, and more than half the states in this country have considered concealed carry on campus legislation. We have a number of announcements to make that we also hope will make you excited to be here at this conference. The most obvious of these, of course, is our name. Most of you will be familiar to us being referred to as Students for Concealed Carry on campus. While we are retaining that name, we have also transitioned to using Students for Concealed Carry for brevity and ease of use. While we still maintain our focus on concealed carry on college campuses, we hope that this new name is part of a streamlined set of packaged improvements that will help us move forward in the legislative and campus arena over the next few years. During the rest of the day, we will go over some of those other new announcements that are coming forward from Students for Concealed Carry. When people discuss concealed carry on campus, it often appears to be a theoretical debate. It is often framed only in the context of the statistical anomaly of a mass shooter or spree killer. While a 10-minute, uncontested, execution-style massacre such as that we saw at Virginia Tech is, of course, a tragedy, realistically, it is not the most likely occurrence on a college campus. Our university environments are not removed from the real world. Rather, they are open institutions that are often the cornerstone of their local communities. Because they are an integral part of American society, they play host to every type of violent crime found in the rest of American society, including rape, assault, armed robbery, and murder. Sadly, crime does not take a holiday from college campuses, and removing the option for effective self-defense only gives criminals a governmental guarantee of disarmed victims. Our next speakers understand that truth a lot better than most. Nikki Gozer and Amanda Collins will be speaking about their personal experiences with crime in college campuses. Nikki and Amanda, would you join us up here? Currently, Amanda Collins resides in Reno, Nevada with her husband, Nate, as a fifth-generation Nevada resident. She has been a concealed weapons permit holder since 2007. In May 2010, Amanda obtained her bachelor's degree from the University of Nevada, Reno. In January, Nate and Amanda had their first daughter, Annabelle. Amanda is enjoying her time as a wife and new mom. Nikki Gozer is from Nashville, Tennessee, and currently works in the Tennessee legislature as a legislative aide. She has spent much time in the last few years working as a Second Amendment activist. And with that, Nikki and Amanda.
Thank you. On the majority of university campuses, responsible, law-abiding citizens are denied their constitutional right to defend themselves. And when I was 22 years old, I never thought I would find myself needing that constitutional right. My story starts off rather ordinary. It was just a regular Monday night, and I was headed to the university to attend my evening class. And that night I parked in the parking garage that was located across from where my class was being held. And I deliberately did this so that I wouldn't have to walk across campus at dark. My class was getting out at 10 p.m. And so when my class was over at 10 o'clock, I left with a group of students that had also parked in the parking garage. And we made a habit out of doing that because we were always told the rule of safety in numbers. As we walked, we talked about the rigorous exam that we had just survived. We had just taken our midterm. And we compared our answers, trying to figure out what exactly the professor was looking for. And as we approached the parking garage, I was the only one who had parked on the ground floor, so I broke away from the group. And as I approached my vehicle, I surveyed in and around and under my car to make sure that there was nobody underneath it. And the manner in which I was doing that was not something that I had to think about. It was second nature for me because of the martial arts training that I received when I was younger. And I was really confident that I had just passed my exam, and I was anxious to get on the phone to call my boyfriend, who I knew would be my fiance in a matter of days, who's now my husband. But my blissful, carefree train of thought was abruptly ended when I was suddenly grabbed by a man who was much larger than me, and he pulled me down to between a truck and a sedan and very quickly put a pistol up to my temple, clicked off the safety, which is a sound that I knew well, and demanded that I not say anything. As I lay there on that cold cement, straddled to the ground, while this man brutally raped me, I wondered if I was going to die, because I saw in his eyes that he had the propensity to kill. The terror I felt in those moments followed me for the next 13 months as the man who attacked me remained at large. However, I was never afraid of the gun. I was afraid of the man holding the gun, and the nightmares that I had about the incident were never about the weapon being used, but about the man who was using the weapon, the very weapon that was banned from campus. In November 2008, the man who attacked me was captured by the Reno police. And the name that had haunted my nightmares finally had a name: James Vila. James Vila was later convicted in the district court for not only raping me at gunpoint, but also kidnapping and raping a second victim, and raping and murdering a third, whose name became well known in our community. It's Breonna Dennison. On October 22nd, 2007, my right to say no was taken away by both James Vila and the Nevada legislature. At a system of higher education, James Vila degraded my body by raping me, and the Nevada legislature rendered me defenseless by denying me my right as a licensed concealed carry permit holder to carry my weapon. Had I been carrying that night, I know at some point I would have been able to stop my rape, and the case that is so well known in northern Nevada would have had a very different outcome. As part of the trial preparation, I was asked to go back to the university and back to the crime scene. And I've seen the efforts that particularly the University of Nevada, Reno has made to improve safety, and they remain inadequate. They have lit up the parking garage significantly and installed these call boxes where you push a number if you have an emergency. A call box potentially located above my head while I was being straddled on the ground would have been no more help to me than the police were that night. I should probably mention that I was raped less than 300 feet away from the campus police office on the same ground where they park their patrol vehicles. And my case is a perfect example that despite the law enforcement's best efforts, that they cannot be everywhere at once. All I wanted was a chance to be able to defend myself, and campus carry would have given me that chance. Participating in your own self-protection should be a choice that is left to the individual, and that choice should not be mandated by the government. And as a woman, I believe that it is the ultimate choice. Because as women, we tell the government to stay out of our bodies and to not mandate what goes on internally. And then some women are willing to hand over our own self-protection and to allow a man to be the arbitrator of that. And I'm not one of those women. If the government's going to deny us the ability to participate in our own self-protection, then they should assume that responsibility, but my case is a perfect example that they're feeling miserably at that task. While I'm speaking to you today, I would like for you to remember that the majority of rapes go unreported, as did mine initially. And so while I'm talking to you about one case involving, or my incident involving 2 other cases, we have no way of really knowing just how many sexual assaults occur. I obeyed the law and left my CCW permit at home. And if the purpose of a gun-free zone is to maintain safety, then it's not serving that objective. I obeyed the law for fear of losing my permit and being expelled from school. But that night when I encountered James Beelan, my education and my CCW permit were only important to me. And he was in town committing a crime and sexual assault anyways. As the current law stands, the law-abiding citizen has more to lose if they carry and if they don't carry. During the sentencing phase, James Beelan received a 1-year enhancement charge for raping me at gunpoint in a gun-free zone. And I was left as an easy target because he knew that I would not be able to defend myself. I didn't have that equalizing factor. The unanswered question of my life is and will remain to be, what would have been different if I had been carrying my gun that night? It is a question that keeps me up at night as I replay the worst 10 minutes of my life over and over again, and there have been several different possibilities, but one outcome remains the same, and that is that 2 other rapes would have been prevented and a young life would have been saved. I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would need the constitutional right that was denied me in order to defend myself and ultimately save a young life. And I would just like to leave you with one question for you to think about. Just how does rendering me defenseless protect you against a violent crime? Thank you.